Hi everyone, Aiden here at the etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat Huk Tailgate Pad. This is going to be a 2-bike rack for your truck beds and give you a way to transport them over the tailgate. But what makes this one so unique is that it's only a half pad, so you can see there's plenty of room left over in the bed right now, and that tailgate pad only sits on about half the tailgate. Less than half actually. So if you don't need to carry a ton of bikes with you, and you still want to operate a tailgate pad because you just don't need a hitch-mounted bike rack, this could be a great way to do it. So let's check it out. Now, the appeal of a tailgate pad in general, I think, is that it's a good alternative to a hitch-mounted bike rack. Generally, they're going to be a lot more affordable, and if you've got the truck bed space, why not utilize it? With a hitch-mounted bike rack, you're going to be adding some cost, and it's going to be sticking out further from the back of your truck, making it harder to drive around with and park. Plus, if you only need to carry 2 bikes, then it doesn't take up that much space in the truck bed. But a tailgate pad is going to really help by keeping those bikes upright, tied down, so they're not flipping over each other, banging into each other, potentially damaging each other by just setting it straight into the bed. So it's a good mix between worlds where we're utilizing the bed, but we're still protecting our bikes in the process. And if you've got an accessory that you like to leave in the hitch, like a ball mount, because we tow often enough that it's kind of a pain to take it out every time, then we can leave it in. The tailgate pad isn't going to interfere with it, and depending on your bikes, you should be able to fit it around there perfectly fine. Now, Kuat makes 5 different versions of the Huk in total. The half pad like we see here, and then 4 full-length pads that will cover the entire length of the tailgate, or the width of the tailgate, that is. Those are going to be sized for different size trucks. So if you've got a compact truck like a Maverick or a Santa Cruz, a mid-size truck like our Tacoma or a Colorado, and then 2 different versions for full-size trucks, whether you've got a flat, straight tailgate or a more curved tailgate, which is most commonly seen on the newer full-size trucks. So depending on the options you have there, if you want the bigger tailgate pad, you can get those, and they're a bit more custom fit to each truck, which is great because it does result in a really strong fit. But where the half pad really excels is the fact that it can only carry 2. If you don't need to carry more than 2 bikes, then why take up the entire space on your tailgate? Something like this is great because there's no extra pieces or flaps to it. It does leave our backup camera partially visible. That may vary depending on the truck you put it on, but in most cases I think it's not going to interfere. And then also it leaves the handle for our tailgate accessible. Again, not having to worry about interfering with our truck. You'll obviously want to unload the bikes before you open up your tailgate, but it is going to be less obtrusive than a full-length pad. So if you don't have a need to carry 5 or 6 bikes, then you don't need to get the big pad. And what all that means for the half pad here is that it can really work with any truck because it's small enough to fit on any of those tailgates. The fit will vary depending on what you put it on, but it is going to work pretty well for your compact, your mid-size like our Tacoma here, or for a full-size truck. There's going to be little things about it that vary depending on what we put it on. For example, on our Tacoma today, the tailgate's very thin, so this top section of the pad here does kind of curve over and it doesn't sit super flush in the back. That's not a big concern because our bikes are still rock solid and the whole front fit is perfect, but you might just run into some things like that depending on the truck you use this with. With all that in mind though, I want to get a closer look at the pad itself underneath the bikes, so let's get the bikes unloaded. It's a really simple process to do, just one strap that holds it in place, and it's located on the down tube of the bike. It secures into the back section of the pad, and around the bike just has this buckle that will bite into the spare strap. So we'll feed that strap around the down tube, cinch it down. That's what holds the bike in place, and flip that lever to have those teeth bite into the strap and keep it from pulling loose. I do wish that the buckle was maybe a nicer material. It's really just plastic with the nylon strap. I think it does the job just fine. I haven't noticed any loosening over time with this, and I like the fact that you can remove this and move it side to side along the tailgate pad to adjust your bike spacing. But I do think there's a few other tailgate pads out there like the Yakima Gatekeeper that uses a nicer mechanism to hold your bikes in. The Yakima Gatekeeper uses a metal G-hook, and compared to the plastic buckle here, it just feels a bit more high quality. But with that strap undone, all you gotta do is lift your bike up over the tailgate and walk it away. With both bikes unloaded, we can see the back of the tailgate pad a lot better. And these are the 5 stitched loops that I was talking about, where we can adjust our bike straps. So we're not set to fixed intervals. We can set these up wherever we want. So if we want them to be spaced out a little bit further apart, we can space them out to the furthest out edges. Now on our Tacoma today, this one won't work because of the wheel well in the way. So we can adjust it off to the side without having to shift the entire tailgate pad, which is great. And the other nice thing is, because these straps are pretty long, if your bike happens to be in an optimal position, maybe between 2 of these straps, it is long enough to fit between the 2 and cinch down around the down tube in the middle. Depending on how your bike fits, you might find that it's not quite long enough, but in all the testing that we've done, we've never run into an issue where it hasn't been long enough. It actually fits really well with a wide variety of bikes. And it's going to be important to know exactly how wide this is. I've mentioned that the fit can vary depending on the truck you use this with quite a few times now, but we can give you a measurement to figure that out for yourself. So end to end, it's going to be 25 5/8 of an inch wide. That's going to let you know how much space it takes up on your own tailgate at home, whether you've got a compact or a full-size truck or anything in between. In the case of our Tacoma today, it does block the backup camera halfway. I think you'll be able to use it still. Once you add a bike on here, maybe not so much. But I could easily shift it to the other side if I wanted that backup camera to be fully unobstructed. I just wanted to have it on this side because that gives me full access to the handle for our tailgate, allowing us to lower it down when the bikes are unloaded and get full access to our truck bed. So depending on the fit on your own truck, you can pick and choose things like that if you have a setup similar to ours. With the tailgate lowered down, you can also see how it attaches to the tailgate really well. Again, we're just using nylon straps here, 2 in total, and they feed through these plastic buckles to tighten down to the tailgate, resulting in a really strong fit. And you'll feed that between the gap of your truck bed and your tailgate. And when I close this, we can see where those buckles and straps will feed out. Here we're using metal G-hooks that will hook into these sewn-on loops. Those loops are going to be reinforced stitching, and the outer material here has some welded seams. The metal G-hook is going to be a really solid construction, and because of all the reinforcement here, even though we're applying a lot of pressure on it to keep this firmly attached to the tailgate, I don't imagine that you'll see much wear and tear over time. And the whole construction around the outside is going to be a TPU material. It's going to be really weather resistant because it doesn't pick up water or moisture, making it good to leave out in the rain if you have to. And it's going to be surrounding all of the extra foam padding on the back, top, and front. That material is going to be very easy to clean. It does pick up dirt very easily and it shows up because it's all black. But again, it wipes away very easily, and if you get a wet rag, it's going to look good as new. It's going to be scratch and abrasion resistant. From all of our testing so far, I think it's going to hold up really well. And the neat thing about it is that it's also recyclable and biodegradable. When it comes down to it though, I think the Kuat Huk is a really solid option if you're looking to carry 1 to 2 bikes on your truck. Like we mentioned before, I think it has a lot of benefits over a hitch-mounted rack. Some people will just inevitably prefer the hitch-mounted rack because it feels more stable to them, and that's totally okay. If you like that stability, you've got other options. Other truck bed options, that is. A lot of truck bed bike racks will clamp onto the bed rails at the front, extend a bar over the front, and you can mount up the forks of your bike to some fork blocks. Or you might be familiar with a more DIY option where you do get some more fork blocks, mount it up to a 2x4, and secure that wood in the bed. Both those options are really solid, and a lot of people like them for the stability, and I've used them personally too. But in the case of shorter truck beds, it's not always the most elegant solution in my opinion. Because it puts the bikes a little bit further back, in a lot of cases you're going to have to lower the tailgate to make those back tires fit. And in some cases, you can have interference at the front of the bike where the handlebars get too close to the cab and that back glass. So it's not going to be the right fit for everyone. In those cases, I think the tailgate pad is going to work great. Yes, your tires are going to be draped over the back and extending a little bit further out, but It's nice because it leaves your tailgate closed. You can use your backup camera as long as this doesn't block it. And if you've got other cargo in your bed, maybe you've got 2 bikes and some camping gear on the other side, it's going to be a lot more secure with the closed bed. So for me personally, that's the route I would go with my own truck, and I use a very similar tailgate pad to this all the time because I like the half pad. I only need to carry my bike, and it leaves the other half of the bed open for all kinds of other things if I need to make a trip to the store or I'm going on a trip. But this has just been our look at the Kuat Huk half tailgate pad. Thanks for watching.